ignorance. You may throw up. Good evening. It is 7 o'clock here in South Orange, New Jersey. This is the Tibet Center, Kunchab Tarduling Buddhist Meditation and Study Center, located in New York City on Monday nights, and in New Jersey the other times. This is our parsonage in South Orange, and this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically topics from the Lamrim, Stages on the Path to Enlightenment. All the prayers we say are on the website right up front. Click on prayers. If there's anyone who has passed away recently that you wish us to pray for when we do Sutra, the recollection of the three jewels at the end of class, put their names in the chat box now. Any questions you might have, you can text them in and somehow they'll get to me or whatever, or if something you don't understand, just let us know. Don't sit there. So we'll start with prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bound of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. Now, Refuge in Bodhisattva vow, it's under the title Generating Bodhicitta. We say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So as is our custom, before we start class, we do 1 round of Om Mani Padme Hum, 1 mala's worth. The mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who personifies great compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So we have a couple of things on tap tonight. I introduced Monday night this book called The Words of My Perfect Teacher. It's known as Kunsang Lame Jalung, Kunsang Lame Jalung in Tibetan, by Zapatral Rinpoche, who died in 1880s. It was a sort of modern, late 18, what's the date? The dates anyway. He was close to us in age, 100 years, 150 years ago, whatever. But more about him. We'll continue though, first off, with His Holiness's book, Advice on Dying, which is actually advice on living, because the death process just brings up the more subtle minds that we carry with us all the time. So this, by studying the process of death, the process of rebirth, the process of the bardo in between 2 lives, you get an idea of the mechanisms of the mind, of perception and everything, and what makes us up, down to the very subtle level. The clear light mind that every being with consciousness has is there all the time. It's just covered up. So, in general, before we even start that, on page 96, he's quoting Tsongkhapa about how we should use our lives. What are we doing? Using our lives to make a lot of money, to be famous, to this and that, which all goes away the minute your breath stops. That's it. Goodbye. So, is there meaning here? Is this whole thing meaningless? So, the Tibetan scholar Tsongkhapa says, first of all, when the difficulty of finding this human body is understood, there's no way to stay doing nothing. You don't realize, and we all don't, me too, how valuable this life is, and how temporary it is, and how hard it is to get back. So when you come to that conclusion by yourself, not by somebody said something, oh, he's such a nice smile, I agree. No. When you convinced yourself, this is the stone truth. What happens? When its greater meaning is seen, Tsongkhapa said, passing the time senselessly is a cause of sorrow. I got to be doing something useful to get out of this prison that I'm in. I didn't realize that things taste good. There's a lot of fun and games. But if you think deeper, it's not that great. They say the real renunciation of samsara comes not when you're aggravated about everything. I can't stand this whole thing. I want to get out. That's defeatism. That's like you're running away. When the pleasures of samsara look like absolutely nothing and you realize they have a rebound effect, they have side effects, then you're a little smarter. And isn't that great? Yes, you don't run away and live in a cave unless you're really serious yogi. That's different. But on my level anyway, you realize it's pleasurable to an extent, but not to the extent that I thought it would be. This is it. This is as good as it gets. No. So that's the idea. When death is contemplated, Tsongkhapa says, preparations to go to the next life is made. Then you realize, okay, I'm going somewhere. I'm traveling, whether I like it or not. Not tomorrow, maybe. Or maybe next week, or maybe whoever. But I'm not going to stay here. And I'm going to be reborn. And again and again and again be reborn. I have to do something. You come to that conclusion yourself. Not because you like the Lama or person who told you this, but because you yourself think this is a wise choice. Just like you make your own decisions about buying a home or spending money or this or marrying this one or that one. Same thing. If you make the right choice, you're in good shape. If not, uh-oh. When actions and their effects are contemplated, cause and effect is always working, whether we believe in it or not. It works for everybody. People who are Buddhists, non-Buddhists, whatever. Animals, everything. When actions and their effects are contemplated, sources of non-conscientiousness are turned away. In other words, you realize you got to be mindful, because everything you do puts a mark on your mental continuum and will have an effect. It's a seed you're planting. You want these seeds to come up? When you don't want them to come up, then get rid of them. So, when in this way these four roots have become firm, other virtuous practices easily grow. So when you wake up to the fact that this is a temporary situation and all the things you went after aren't that great, you need them, you need warm clothes and happy things and all, to a point. It's not the whole thing though. And if you're smart, if you're really a sincere person, your mind itself will send up signals, a floating anxiety, a feeling this is great, everything, but still something's just not right. It's not perfect. You're right, it's not perfect. Only Buddhahood, perfection. So your deepest mind is sending up a little shout. We usually cover it up. Ooh, chocolate. Ooh, nice music. Yeah. There's so-and-so. Ooh, she is hot. He's hot. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And on into the night. Cheers. Espresso, not liquor. So now we're at the point of the clear light of death. And this is, in a way, this is tantric practice. I thought I marked the page, and no, I didn't. So summary advice, we'll do this. The clear light has dawned. We went through that process. And what is the clear light? The most subtle level of the mind. And the idea with all these descriptions and everything is to be able to go through that, go into that clear light, meeting of the mother-son clear light, the external, the internal, with mindfulness, being in charge, using that subtlest mind to your advantage. Now, at that point, you can't just say, there it is, I'm going to kill, I'm going to do that. No, by the force of your previous practice, it comes to you, this ability to say, aha, clear light, and you do the right thing at that point. At that time, subject-object is out the window and all that. So you can't say, oh, there it is now, and I'm going to do that. That little voice was thrown out years ago, a while ago, and it wasn't being funny. But so that's why continued practice is very, very important. Even the simple things we do, the daily mantras, I take refuge in the Buddha and all that, that's not going nowhere. That's prepping the more subtle levels of mind and maturing them so that when the clear light dawns, you're in a position to do something about it. It comes to you. Because the you right now wants to direct, like Trungpa Rinpoche used to say, the ego wants to direct its own funeral. You know, it's going to go, hello. So, he's the clear light, remember? Well, Rinpoche Chungla's in one of his pages in his biography, said, we believe all forms come out of the clear light. That everything that's here, the room and all that stuff, in one way, it's a room, they made it, but somehow it comes out of the clear light. If you trace back the minds that thought of it and the karma that put things together here, anything, all the positive stuff comes out of that. So all the forms come out of the clear light. Knowing this, you don't freak out when different experiences occur to you. That's why all this training is important, especially the compassion training and everything, but we'll get to that. He gives some advice at the end of a summary advice that makes it easier to work with. The final phase in the process of dying occurs when the fundamental innate mind of clear light dawns. It dawns. You don't go out and get it. It dawns. You get the idea? Oh shit, the sun's out already. I didn't sleep a wink. Yeah, it dawned. You didn't call it up and say, get over here. So that's something important to remember. The mind has existed continuously, this mind rather, has existed continuously since beginningless time and will continue to exist forever. You can rest in that knowledge right now. That should take away a lot of anxiety. Because this is holiness whom I trust. No, I don't have experience of this, even though we all went through it billions of times. Every time we died and came back, it just flashed by. So that's the base consciousness. And it's universal. So, second point he makes, eventually at Buddhahood, we can't wait, you become capable of remaining in the innate mind of clear light without passing through the reverse process of the coarser levels of consciousness. At that point, there is no opportunity for the accumulation of karma. You built up more and more subtle mind till the clear light. Then you're going to be reborn, more gross, until flop, here we are with this mind. So that's not going to occur if you have the ability to manage that and take it to Buddhahood. 3, even for an ordinary non-practitioner, an absence of coarse appearances dawns at death. Absence of coarse appearances. You don't see them anymore. Well, there's Frankie in his new car. No, Frankie in his new car. Frankie in his used car. No, not even that. And that's the end of it. Adios. Living in the urban areas, it's terrific. And this isn't that urban. Absence of coarse appearance dawns at death, but and not only coarse appearance, coarse minds that, you're jealous of this, you want that. It's all gone. All this right now is part of us, and we can't stand it. I'm so obsessed. Yeah, well, that goes. That's carried by a coarse mind. Oh boy. A highly developed practitioner seeks to make use of this mind to realize the truth, the emptiness of inherent existence. Could you imagine if you were able to meditate on emptiness with the subtlest minds? It would change you very, very quickly. Through the force of familiarity gained from meditation on emptiness. There's the thing again. Not because you suddenly thought you have familiarity with emptiness. It comes up. It comes to you. Finally. Dong. The ordinary mind of clear, this is fourth point now. The ordinary mind of clear light that manifests in the final stage of death is called the mother clear light. And the clear light generated through the force of cultivating the spiritual path is called the child clear light. Sometimes it's sexist and it's mother and son, but it should be mother and child, because the girls have it. Besides, what gender are you in then? That's all out the window too. Oh, yeah. It's not the feminine Bardo and the male Bardo. Somewhat, but at the clear light, no. When the mother clear light of death, which dawns due to karma, turns into a spiritual consciousness knowing emptiness, the child clear light, when that happens, this transformation is called the meeting of the mother and child clear lights. And he doesn't say anything more about it. So you could put anything on that you want, but it's not something you're going to be afraid of.
So it's two different stages of clear light?
Clear light's out there, in there is mother clear light, child clear light, understanding it. The meeting of mother and child is one of the happiest things ever, right? So it should be a nice thing. Nice. It's hardly a word that even, it's a big thing. It's our innate birthright, our nature, our fullness. It's a big deal. You contrive of it unless you're going to be frightened. Oh, I don't know. But this is very high practice. I don't understand it. I'm reading words out of a book. But it fascinates me. And it gives me the impetus to realize these people know what they're talking about, because they're talking about things that I wouldn't even imagine. So when they say, start doing this and doing that, which Buddhism does, it doesn't say, you got to believe this, you got to believe that. No, do this and tell me what happens. And, oh yeah, now do this. Oh, I can understand this now. It's very practical, useful. But again, all these repetitions of this and that, they're very helpful because they're affecting the lower levels of consciousness that we don't have on our top level. And that's where the trouble comes up. The anxieties, all these free-floating things, the confusion, all that, you're quelling all this. You're making it nice and calm. So there's no waves on the surface. That's it. So if it's hard to drag yourself to do the sadhanas every day or do so many manis a day or whatever, there's a reason for it. And they're not going to tell you to do this or that just to torture you or so. It's not that kind of a setup. You should be happy to do it, so they say. And sometimes one Thrango Rinpoche always say, you have a commitment to do X amount of this and this. Whatever you try to do that. But whatever you do, okay, that's enough, that's all I can do today. Sincerely. My mind's drifting off, I'm falling asleep, and it's 5 o'clock, and all that. Just be content with what you did and not regretful. Well, I couldn't get to the sun. That regret is no use at all. I did my best. Tomorrow's another day. Always have that thought. Whatever you did, well, it's what I could do at this time. I'm very happy with that. Very important. It makes it easier for you to do more and more in the future. So don't beat yourself up. That's everybody else's job. That's the job of society. Your boss, whoever else is around. Your spouse, maybe, who knows. Your auto mechanic. Zapatrul Rinpoche. We didn't have this here. It's only New York has had this so far. So, as I said, I think he died, I think, 85 or 87, 1885. He was a wandering yogi type. Used regular dialect, of course, sometimes speech. However, don't think that he was just one of these guys that lived in the woods. Very scholarly. He turned down all the high positions in monasteries and preferred to wander around. Ragged clothes, eating whatever he was given, sleeping on the ground. The story is told of him that wherever he went, he was very popular. And he was giving empowerments and teachings. And people, of course, offered silver and gold and laid it out in front of him. Like you saw Lama Zopa when he got teachings from Chungla Rinpoche, all the things he gave. So one thief was in the audience and said, this guy is really making a bundle here. And I heard he sleeps outside. I'm going to follow him. And I'm saying that when he goes to sleep, I'm going to rip him off. So he follows him. Finds him asleep on the side of it, like sleeping like this. And he says, all right, where is everything? He wakes him up. What? Everything they gave you. Oh, I left it there. What? I left it there. Go see. He runs back, the thief, to the original place where the initiation was given. There they are. Gold, silver, food, everything. And then the guy broke down. What am I doing? This guy leaves all this. He must be a highly realized. What's wrong with me? He ran back, started crying, and asked to be a student. So that's the kind of guy Zapatro was. It's a true story.
Oh, wow.
A lot of true stories like this. He was a character.
Like Nila Ripa a little bit.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Little Rep is a little different. Stayed in one place. This guy wandered. And this guy's Ningma. It doesn't matter. At that level, that's all a lot of, And now we're in the modern world. These things, distinctions are going to melt. And if the need is there for them to melt, if it's better to stay contained, they will. I don't know. It's not my pay grade, as they say now in the United States. So, but yeah, he was that kind of a person. A lot of the stories that Chungla Rinpoche told us come from him, about the mother and daughter crossing the river, things like that. Oh, there's a lot of stories like this. He's full of stories here. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of these stories about, horses doing this and that, blah, then he starts quoting scripture from memory. So he's both.
When did he live? Patrul Rinpoche?
Yeah, I got the exact dates here. What am I doing? Let me.
And he knew Rinpoche, but
No, Rinpoche didn't know, but it's in the air, these stories. He was admired by all the sects, the oral tradition.
so he's before Rinpoche's time.
Yes, well, this incarnation of Rinpoche. So Rinpoche was, there's 10 of them to start.
I'm referring to
Yeah, 1808 to 1887. 1808 to 1887. So my grandfathers were alive when this guy was alive. That's how old I am.
never knew who your grandfather was.
My grandfather, I know, two of them anyway. Yeah, my mother's father was born in 1880. The other one maybe 1890. Yeah, my grandfather and grandmother were born in the 1880s.
And he lived where in India?
He lived in Tibet.
Tibet, okay.
There was Tibet, so he was for more than a century. I'll give you the blurb on the back because it's very good. What am I kicking here? Oh, that's the stool. That's all right. The Padmakara group translated this. Very good translation. It flows. He's beyond all that. The Dalai Lama Nyingma, but he practices some Nyingma, some yellow. He's everything. At this point, what was Buddha? As Dalai Lama said, red hat, no hat. Shakyamuni Buddha, no hat. Yellow hat, red hat, black hat. No. So he had a baseball hat, maybe. I don't know. The words of my perfect teacher has served as a guide to spiritual practice common to all four major schools of Tibetan Buddhism. It is the classic commentary on the preliminary practices of the Longchen Yingtig cycle of teachings. This is preliminary practices for Dzogchen. Like the Lamrim preliminary for Tantra. It says, now get Tantric into the last chapter. This is all prep, so you can enter. Same thing here. It's a Lamrim, and all things are taking refuge. Don't be jealous. Don't be this. Don't be that. Good advice. Very easy to understand, especially for people like me. The author, Patrul Rinpoche, makes his subject accessible through a wealth of stories, quotations, and references to everyday life. And he also quotes heavy sutras from memory. The guy's a walking library. It's amazing. His sense of poetry and irony and his warm colloquial style infuse the text with the atmosphere and vitality of an oral teaching. So even though it's written down, it's vital, like the guy's talking to you. This second revised edition, you don't need all that, sir. So, and who wrote the forwards to this? Dalai Lama and Dilgo Chensei Rinpoche. So the heavy hitters came out of the clubhouse to step up to the plate. Yeah. Ooh. All right. So we're going to pick topics here and there. And this is going to be with us for a while because it's very helpful for everyday life. I just made this mark, so we'll start where I'm at. These are things we could do mentally, no matter where we are, to cultivate attitudes in our mind that make our lives easier, give us a lot of merit, and give us more intelligence, believe it or not. One of their themes is the more compassionate you are, the more you're concerned with others, the more your own wisdom grows. Doesn't seem a direct thing. Wisdom I got to study, both. So Meditation from page 213 on sympathetic joy. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness, that kind of thing. Or when you see someone very happy, what should you do? Imagine someone of noble birth. This is Patrol's words himself. Strong, prosperous, and powerful. Someone who lives in the higher realms experiencing comfort, happiness, and a long life surrounded by many attendants and in great wealth. Yeah, where is it? Without any feeling of jealousy or rivalry. Watch your mind now when this thing comes up on the screen. Make the wish that they might become even more glorious. Enjoy still more of the prosperity of the higher realms. Be free of all danger and develop ever more intelligence and other perfect talents. Then tell yourself again and again how wonderful it would be if all other beings could live at such a level too. This is imagination, Probably the wealthy people in the world didn't want to hear this, but you're happy then. Let them be more happy. Does that sound familiar? Somebody we knew that talked that way? Sure. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Begin your meditation by thinking about a person who easily arouses positive feelings, like a relative, a close friend, or someone you love. Or buddy, maybe. Who is successful, contented, and at peace, and feel happy that this is so. When you have established that feeling of happiness, you're watching yourself, you're prompting yourself. You're very good at this, by the way, when you're fantasizing about someone you like or whatever. So you got the talent. Don't come here and say, I don't know how to do that. You do. Get out of here. Okay. So try to cultivate the same feeling. So someone who's successful, content, and at peace, you feel happy. When you have established that feeling of happiness, try to cultivate the same feeling to those about whom you feel indifferent. The guy at this, the 7-Eleven or something, the gas station, like, dislike. And then focus on all kinds of enemies who have harmed you, especially anybody of whom you feel jealous. And here's the point. Jealousy is poison. You want to get at all its causes. So they don't attack things directly. I can't be jealous. It doesn't work. They go around the causes of jealousy. That's what they're doing now. Very clever, and it works. But jealousy, you have to know, in any situation, is not healthy. Not healthy physically, even for you. Uproot the evil mentality that finds it unbearable that someone else should have such perfect plenty, and cultivate a particular feeling of delight for each kind of happiness that they might enjoy. How come he has it? Think of how you feel when that happens. A whiny little mind you want to smack, but you can't because it's you. No, right? So we all know jealousy sucks. Conclude by resting in the state without any conceptualization. If you could bring up the feeling, hold that feeling. You do it when you're fantasizing. Don't tell me. So now you could do it. Just stay. That's going to go away. Of course, nothing we have. Unless you have shamatha and you can hold things. That's different. But an ordinary person, those few moments, seconds, whatever, affect the subtler minds. They build. The more you do it. So it's helpful. And it's free of charge, we might add. There's no tax, nothing. The meaning of sympathetic joy is to have a mind free of jealousy. This is very good teaching from a guy who everybody thought, yeah, he's just a clown, he talks this way. No. There's a lot here. Don't forget, in Tibet, there are a lot of people who were illiterate. And he had the heart to speak in a way that they can get the highest truth. And as Chungla told him, nobody in Tibet, monks, nuns, and the nobles could hire tutors. Otherwise, no, they didn't go to high school or anything. So here you have education, like that. So it's important to think that way. So the mind of sympathetic joy is to have a mind free of jealousy. That's what we're after. You should therefore try to train your mind with all sorts of methods to prevent those harmful jealous thoughts from arising. They are not healthy, they're no good for you. Specifically, a bodhisattva has given rise to bodhicitta for the benefit of all beings, should be trying to establish all those beings in the everlasting happiness of Buddhahood, and temporarily in the happiness of the realms of gods and men, or humans. They use men instead. They didn't get the word when this was translated. Should be. So how could such a bodhisattva ever be displeased instead of when some beings, through the force of their own past actions, possess some distinction or wealth. Right out of Shantideva's book. You're jealous of this? But wait a minute. Didn't you just take the Bodhisattva vow and I wish all beings happiness? This one got there by himself or herself. What are you jealous about? Hello? Do you remember what you said? Constant checking back and forth. Once people have been corrupted by jealousy, nice word here, they no longer see the good in others and their own negative actions increase alarmingly. That's bad. That's bad. No, it's foolish. Really, it's stupid. And you're making yourself suffer. When the glory and activity of Jetson Milarepa was spreading, a certain professor of logic named Tarlo, he always interrupts with stories. As soon as he gives you a little preach, then he hits you with an anecdote, because like television, people, oh yeah, let me listen to this. So it's very sweet. You could see that he's teaching with the audience in his heart. When the glory and activity of Jetson Milarepa was spreading, a certain professor of logic named Tarlo, T-A-R-L-O, became jealous and started to attack him. Nothing new. In spite of every example of clairvoyance and miraculous power that the Jetson showed him, Tarlo had no faith in him and only reacted with wrong views and criticism. He was later reborn as a great demon. It serves you right, Tarlo, but that's not the point. There are many other examples of what can happen under the power of jealousy, like how the logician Geshe Sakpua tried to poison Jetson Milarepa. People all do these things. Devadatas tried to get rid of Buddha. It's his cousin. Hey, the families all have these troubles. Hey, yeah, all families are dysfunctional. It is written. I mean, really, the more you look, who gets along with anyone? It's beginningless. What do you think? Or every workplace or something, there's always a little crap. When people get together, you could bet on this. If you want to make money, bet on the afflictions. Ay, ay, ay. All right, enough. Much time? We got plenty of time. Even if the Buddha himself were present in person, there would be nothing he could do to guide a jealous person. That's how bad it is. You put up a wall. A mind tainted with jealousy cannot see anything good in others. Being unable to see anything good in them, it cannot give rise to even the faintest glimmer of faith. It's blocking all that. It's a real poison. Without faith, one can receive neither compassion nor blessings. Devadatta and Sunaksatra were the Buddha's cousins. Both were tormented by jealousy and refused to have the slightest faith in him. The family, again, the family. Some Thanksgiving dinner there, huh? I don't know. Although they spent their entire lives in his company, he could not transform their minds at all. And this is the Buddha. So don't feel bad when the friend of yours doesn't take your advice or anything. Forget it. Moreover, even when evil thoughts about others do not materialize as actual physical harm, they still create prodigious negative effects for the person who has the thought and goes along with it. You can have the thought and say, what am I thinking? You're going to have that. But you just don't follow the train, get on the train and travel with it. No, that again, how disgusting. And that's it. Leave it at that. Don't go crazy. There were once two famous Geshes who were rivals. More stories. Yay! One day, one of them learned that the other had a mistress. Ooh, tune in next week for the... The Geshe told his servants, prepare some good tea because I have some interesting news. They love gossip, and there's no TV then, so it's all around the table. They have to get ready with good tea. Spit it out and shut up so we can go. The servant made tea, and when he had served it, he asked, and what is the news? They say, replied the Geshe, that our rival has a mistress. No. My God. When Kunpang Sakyal heard this tale, it is said that his face darkened, and he asked, which of the two Geshes committed the worst action? Ah, the one who hung out with the woman? We assume it's a woman. We don't know. Lady boys, I don't know. But, or the one who's constant, that the one who carried it out. And this happens today. Everyone has to tell me all these stories that come up. You know that so-and-so is famous and he did this and that and they had to pay off someone and all. What are you telling me for, first of all? I don't have the power to do anything. I don't care what he did or didn't. And what are you coming here with that information? Instead of coming here with the information of all the stuff you learned in the class and all that. It's not something old that went away. It's around. You know, There's people in this center will feed you stories like this. And every center. You okay? Want some water or something? Want to drink a scotch or something? Scotch, water back? No, not anymore. Oh well. Constant dwelling on such feelings as jealousy and competitiveness. Another one. Neither furthers one's own cause nor harms that of one's rivals. The jealousy doesn't get rid of that person's problem. Your competition doesn't get rid of that person. Is that person?
I'm confused, sorry, the other geisha he wasn't jealous, he was just gossiping.
He's gossiping, but what is he opening his mouth for? Which is worse? Taking delight in someone's evil deed? That's what he's doing.
Okay, I see.
Oh, this benefits me. I'm a rival. Now everybody's going to think he's nothing and I am the good guy. Well, you're not. I'm sorry. It's tricky. It's subtle. But we're being told these stories so we can watch our own mind as it plays
So
these
there's a
tricks.
jealousy element there, yeah.
Jealousy element, now he's our rival and now we got something on him.
Yeah.
You can get elected on that in this country.
Definitely.
You can join the Epstein administration. That's what they're calling it now. So this is good.
Is envy the same thing as jealousy, or is there a difference? Do you know?
Is it? That's
Envy and jealousy, that's a good question. I don't know exactly, precisely.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe there's probably is. You know what? I'm going to look this up and see what we can find. Envy and jealousy. They seem to be the same. Someone has something and you want it, and you didn't get it.
Do you have a Google or anybody?
I don't know.
One's all
We'll figure it out. We'll ask.
closet.
That's a question you can email to India. Some of the scholars, I'm sure Nikki can answer that question very well because he has to memorize the definitions. So I could look, you know where we could look? Jeffrey Hopkins' Meditation on Emptiness. And Jeff, if you're listening, maybe you got the answer. Don't hesitate to text it in. Lori, Jeff, Mark, if you're awake and not eating pizza or hot spicy food in Jackson Heights. Lavinia's checking with the organization. So anyway, we'll stay.
Okay, a feeling of discontented or resentful
Yeah,
longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck.
that's envy or jealousy.
Envy.
Jealousy, maybe you want to have it yourself. Maybe that's the difference. Let me point. Can you pick up her voice?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
And jealousy is feeling or showing envy of someone.
Oh, I see. Feeling or showing envy.
Envy of someone or their achievements and advantages. Okay, so one is just sort of mental, the one,
And the other one is coming
showing,
out and
yeah.
showing.
Yeah, that's jealousy. The second.
But both put something in your mind that shouldn't be. It's not healthy. That's interesting. That's good. Maybe we'll get the Buddhist verdict too. Supreme Court of Buddhism has to issue a.
Seems like jealousy would be tinged with anger and more directed towards a person,
Yeah, it's
whereas
Hmm.
envy is more like what you want.
right. It's
less
more internal.
personal.
Well, jealousy is more external.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Students, you got that right, Darren? Yeah. Because that's important. It's a big discussion. This is important.
Like you can say that jealous eye. Somebody's jealous, giving you the jealous look. It's kind of a
They show it.
manifestation,
Would you
right,
say that
yeah.
they show it,
yeah.
whereas one's kept under the wraps?
Right, right, yeah. Maybe, that's what the definitions say, but I'm sure we can discuss
My
this.
boyfriend is jealous. You hear that a lot about the,
Yeah,
we may have solved the problem here at the Tibet Center. We shall issue a proclamation. So anyway, the thing is, you don't feel good when you're going through this. You're not satisfied and healthy. And it doesn't hurt the person you're mad at or whatever, or you want to see destroyed. So what good is it? Totally negative towards you. It's drinking polluted water or whatever. It's very bad. It leads to pointless accumulation of negativity. It has the instance and then it has the repercussions, the after effects, the continuum, the seeds of karma that make you, again, repeat it, the jealousy, and make it worse and worse. Give up vile attitudes of this kind. This is advice. Give up vile attitudes of this kind. Always sincerely rejoice in the achievements and favorable circumstances of others. There's the antidote. Forget that thought. And rejoicing is healthy. Whether it is their social position, physique, wealth, learning, or whatever else, think over and over again how truly glad you are that there are such excellent people, so successful and fortunate. Think how wonderful it would be if they became even better off than they are now and acquired all the strength, wealth, learning, and good qualities that they could possibly ever get. Meditate on this from the depths of your heart. This is very serious. Yeah, I don't feel it. Well, what's the alternative? Being jealous? This is very positive. And what's the effect of this? You're going to get the things you want, more or less. The image given for boundless sympathetic joy, and here's something that you'll like, Lavinia. You're going to like this right away. No, even better. That of a mother camel finding her lost calf. Of all animals, camels are considered the most affectionate mothers. I haven't been around them, so I don't know. I see them outside Starbucks Park. If a mother camel loses her calf, her sorrow is correspondingly intense. But should she find it again, her joy knows no bounds. That's the kind of sympathetic joy that you should try to develop. Now, he's talking to an environment where they know about camels, you know.
Camels also spit if they don't like you.
Well, I don't want to hear this. And they sell cigarettes, too, I heard. There's a little... the four boundless qualities cannot fail happiness, cause of happiness, all that. Cannot fail to cause us to develop genuine bodhicitta. This is a process of developing bodhicitta. You can announce the bodhicitta for all sentient beings, blah, blah, blah. If you can't back it up with the mental gymnastics, the mental postures, the conclusions, it's just words. Don't deny that the words themselves are good, because constantly, after a while, imitate it will happen. Fake it till you make it. At least come in contact with the idea of bodhicitta. But to really develop it, these are the pieces and parts you have to put together to get there. And you're better off for doing it. Vital to cultivate them until they have truly taken root. To make things easy as possible to understand, we can summarize the four boundless qualities in a single phrase: a kind heart. Just train yourself to have a kind heart always and in all situations. One day, Lord Atisha's hand was hurting, so he laid it in Dom Trampa's lap and said, "You who are so kind-hearted, bless my hand." The note says it's customary to ask realized lamas to blow on a wound in order to cure it, back in the day, in the old days. So, excuse me, someone's coming in. Must be Eugene. Eugene with a haircut. We hardly know you. Welcome. We're talking from Zapatrol's book, Kunsang Lame Jalong.
Which one?
Kunsang Lame Jalong. Words of my perfect teacher. Eugene studied with Nyingma, so he knows. So bless my hand. Atisha always placed a unique emphasis on the importance of a kind heart rather than ask people, "How are you?" He would say, "Has your heart been kind?" Have you had a good thought? You keeping good thought? He wouldn't say, "How are you?" Are you keeping good thought? Whenever he taught, he would add, "Have a kind heart." It is the power of kind or unkind intentions that makes an action positive or negative, strong or weak. The intention. When the intention behind them is good, all physical or verbal actions are positive. As was illustrated, another story coming up, by the story of the man who put the leather sole over the tsatsa. In other words, what are you putting the sole of a shoe on top of a Buddha image? Well, to protect it from the rain. The intention was good. On paper. You also heard the story of one guy came and saw the statue was left in the rain, so he found an old rag and put it on top of it. Another guy came back and said, "Who put this old rag on the nice thing?" Took it off. Both were positive actions because their intentions were good. That's it. So in the court of karma, they both get a gold star or whatever they get. I don't know. You get time off. When the intention behind is bad, any action, however positive it looks, will in fact be negative. Give a lot of money to show off, perhaps. Maybe that happened. So learn to have kind intentions all the time, no matter what the circumstances. It is said. And now he quotes something that I don't know exactly where it comes. Oh, wait a minute. Footnote time. I should have looked it up ahead of time, but I didn't. All these books, by the way, don't ignore the footnotes. The 10 levels of path, but here the means to progress on the path. I don't understand that. The levels and paths are, oh, I see what it means. So here's the quote. If the intention is good, the levels and paths are good. You're going from first stage bodhisattva to the 10th stage and then Buddhahood.
Levels here means boomies and...
Boomies, yes. If the intention is bad, the levels and paths are bad. Since everything depends on intentions, always make sure that they are positive. That's simple. How is it that the paths and levels are good if the intentions are good? Once an old woman, this I heard Chung will give me this story in his house. I remember we were talking. Once an old woman was crossing a wide river with her daughter, holding her hand when both of them were swept away by the current. The mother thought, it's not that important if I'm carried away by the water as long as my daughter is saved. At the same time, the young girl was thinking, it doesn't matter much if I get swept away as long as my mother isn't drowned. They both perished in the water, and as a result of those positive thoughts for each other, they were both reborn in the celestial realm of Brahma. He always, that's a story that, and these stories from here get carried away into all the lectures. He's very influential in the last 200 years, say. Zapatro. On another occasion, we have time for one more story. We got 9 minutes. On another occasion, 6 monks and a messenger, this sounds like the beginning of a joke. 6 monks and a messenger were on a boat. Boarded a ferry boat to cross the river Jasako. Oh yes, I know it well. The boat set off from the bank. About a quarter of the way across, the boatman said, "Uh-oh, we're too heavy. If anybody knows how to swim, please jump in the water. If not, I'll jump in myself, and one of you can take the oars." None of them knew how to swim, but none of them knew how to row either. Oh boy. So the messenger jumped out of the boat crying, "It's better for me to die alone than for everybody to die." Ooh. Immediately a rainbow appeared and a rain of flowers fell. Even though the messenger did not know how to swim, he was carried safely to the shore. He had never practiced Dharma. This was the immediate benefit coming from a single good thought. That's the illustration. How is it the paths and levels are bad if the thoughts are bad? There once was a beggar who, as he was lying in the gateway of the royal palace, was thinking, "I wish that the king would have his head cut off and I could take his place." There. This thought was continually going around in his mind all night long. Towards morning he fell asleep, and while he was sleeping, the king drove out in his carriage. One of the wheels rolled over the beggar's neck and cut off his head. On that happy note, no, the other story of the Buddha said, story of this king who gave a great banquet and everything, and showed off the Buddha was there and everything. And the king asked the Buddha, who has all the merit now, thinking the Buddha, so you do for putting on this thing. He said, no, that beggar outside. The beggar outside, Buddha was clever and said, I wish someday I can give the Buddha all these things. It'd be wonderful. He has the most merit. Of course, the king, being a real pain in the neck, real bad, had the beggar taken away, and the next day gave another big banquet, and it got merit from that. But he must have done something nice to the beggar too. Otherwise, they would. But then he had the best merit. He wasn't trying to show off this time around. He was the first time around. And the beggar said, "Well, someday I hope I can do that." Sympathetic joy, that's a wonderful thing. Share their joy, all that stuff. That doesn't hurt. So you'll find that some kid's doing well in school. You know, your son gets a big scholarship or something, we'll share his joy. I got a surprise for you. And anything that good happens, not only you, but even other kids and stuff. It's very powerful and it's very inexpensive. Because we're not out of the world of money when we're talking about Dharma. We're out of that world. Different metrics apply here. Which is very refreshing after all this. So, it's 55 minutes. Questions, complaints. That was very good looking up that stuff. He's not there, so we can't see if anything came in. So we'll see. We're talking about the difference between envy and jealousy. So they went where Eugene always goes, to Google.
What is the difference between envy and jealousy?
One is more an external display and one is internal. We're going to look this up more, and I'm going to look it up in Jeffrey Hopkins' book, which seems to
Like you can say a jealous rage, but you don't say.
an envious rage. No, we don't. That's true.
I'm thinking it's more, the internal and external works, but also, if you look, you can take ignorance at the top and then you have desire and anger. I think envy is on the desire end and jealousy has more.
On the anger end?
Yeah.
Tony, can we pray for the
Of course.
people in the war?
Oh, of course. That's a given, yeah. It's deja vu all over again. The same talk that they did in Iraq in '03 is being done now. The same announcement and whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're totally out of control, and this is... what kind of a show is it, Eugene? We can't say it on the air. Sutra, the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. Possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. We have a bulletin from Jeff Allen, the resident scholar in Connecticut. The Forest of Wisdom has spoken. Jealousy, a disturbance of the mind from the depths that involves an inability to hear another's fortune due to being attached to goods and services. Covetousness, the desire to make the wealth, possessions, and property of another your own, the feeling it may be mine. So that's the envy portion of it. And he gets it from, and Laurie Rankin said, the footnotes often contain the deepest meaning. Yes, you're right. Footnotes in these books are really good. Jeffrey Hopkins' gems and others are often embedded in them. Thank you, Jeff and Laurie, for teaching us. We appreciate it. From the bottom, really, really appreciate it. The more closer we get, the more benefit to others happen. Yeah.
I thought the pizza was burning.
The pizza is burning. I smell it. No? No. Okay. That's my socks. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right. Thanks, guys, up in Connecticut. Spring is here. I declare the end of winter. Yeah. Big deal. If I could declare the winner of a few races. Anyway, 8 verses on training the mind. I remind you that Losang Yanten, great nun, great teacher out on the West Coast, says that this is a dangerous text because it's easy to understand and we may think that we can do it and leave it at that. It bears thinking. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I had benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Final prayer is a prayer for swift return written by His Holiness Dalai Lama for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Dorje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening. You have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel return as the glory of Lozang Tenpe, magnificent truth of the three precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moon-like face. Again, Lori and Jeff, thanks so much. People don't realize how beneficial this is. Well, they do. A lot of people don't realize how good they're going to feel when they hear all this. Thanks, Lori and Jeff. Thanks, Darren, for getting this typed out at lightning speed. Very good. The more we cooperate, the better. Anyway, this concludes the presentation. Tonight, the next Dharma event will be right here, the parsonage in South Orange, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, the White Terrace Sadhana, followed by a copious spread of lunch, whatever, desserts, everything. Vegetarian, non-vegetarian, who cares? Inedible, edible. The next event after that will be Monday night at 151 West 30th Street on the third floor, I guess, right? We're back on the third floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7 o'clock. A stone's throw, if you want to put it, Molotov cocktails throw, whatever, from Penn Station, right in Midtown. And then the following Wednesday, right back here. So thank you very much, Lori and Jeff. Again, I can't thank you enough. It's so sweet. Thank you for your kind, patient listening. Big love to all of you. And a salud. Chin chin.